In this polar integral example, we need to find the volume under the plane z is equal to x. So this plane right here, right, it has, the z, x plane. We're gonna, go up in one slope over circle radius 1/2, centered at xy equals 1/2, comma 0. So we already solved for that circle in the previous video in the playlist in polar coordinates. So we can actually go ahead and write out here. So I have integral over that region, x dx dy. That's in Cartesian. In polar, we'll get integral, so negative pi over 2 for theta to pi over 2. And here it's 0 to cosine of theta. Then here x just turns into r cosine of theta. And then we also have the r dr d theta. Right, and we can combine those together. So negative pi over 2, integral 0 cosine theta, r squared cosine of theta dr d theta. Right, now we go ahead and integrate. So we need to integrate the r squared term with respect to r. The cosine theta the dr doesn't touch that. So we'll end up with, and I'm going to take the cosine theta kind of out. So integral negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And so cosine of theta, all right. So r squared integral is going to be 1/3 r cubed, evaluated from 0 to cosine of theta. And then we still have r d theta outside here. All right, then evaluating that, we'll end up with, let's see, so still have my integral, negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Okay, I have my cosine theta times, well, I've got my 1/3, and then I've also got r cubed, so if I evaluated at cosine theta, I get cosine cubed. If I evaluated at 0, I get 0 cubed, so it's just the cosine cubed theta. So I actually end up with cosine times cosine cubed, so I end up with cosine to the 4th there, and that's all over 3 from the 1/3, and then I have d theta. Right, now for this we're going to have to use some trig identities here, one in particular. So I don't know how to integrate cosine to the 4th, but I do know that cosine squared of theta is equal to 1/2, and let's see here, it's 1 plus cosine of 2 theta. All right, so then cosine squared, cosine to the 4th of theta would then be, right, this thing times itself, so I get 1/2 times 1/2, so it's 1/4. And then I get 1 plus cosine of 2 theta squared. I do need to multiply that out, and that equals, all right, so I still have my quarter, and then I have, okay, 1 times 1, okay, in the middle I get 2 cosine of 2 theta, and then I also have plus cosine squared of 2 theta. And close off the parenthesis. So that cosine squared again is another problem. So I actually have to use this trig identity again so that I can get just cosines to the power 1, because I can't integrate those. I can't integrate cosine squared of 2 theta. If I go ahead and do that, I think I'm going to try and squeeze it in. I think I'll have enough room. All right. So it's 1/4. Okay, and then I have my 1 plus 2 cosine of 2 theta. Okay, and then plus, so cosine squared, that's going to turn into 1/2. And then we have our 1 plus cosine of, so right here it went from theta to 2 theta, and now we have 2 theta, so that's going to turn into 4 theta. And let's see if I get all my parentheses right here. All right, so I can integrate all those. And then just to make this a little nicer for integrating, so let's see, I've got 1/4 times 1, okay, so that's 1/4. And then I've got 1/4 times 2, so that's 1/2, times cosine 2 theta. Then I also have plus 1/2, and then plus, Oh, and sorry, that's not quite right. Right, I had a quarter times a half. So I have to make sure I get that correct. So that's 1/8. And then plus 1/8 times cosine of 4 theta. I think I got that right. Theta there isn't very clear. Okay. And then just to simplify that a little, so the 1/4 plus the 1/8, ooh, that would be 3/8, I'm pretty sure. So 1/4 plus 1/8, that's 3/8. Okay, so now I can rewrite this integral. All right, so we get negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Okay, I also have my 1/3. Forgot about that. Oh yeah. All right, so I think I'll take the 1/3 and I'll put it outside and I'll multiply it when everything's done. So we've got a 3/8 and then plus 1/2 cosine 2 theta. Then plus 1/8. Did I get that right? Yeah. Plus 1/8 cosine of 4 theta. Okay, d theta. Okay, so now I can actually perform the integration. So I'll end up with 1/3. All right, so let's see here. We've got 3/8, that's turned into 3/8 theta. All right, plus, okay, so cosine, so I think that's going to be 1/4 sine of 2 theta. Thetas aren't that different. Okay. And then what do we have here? Okay, 4, so I got to bring that out. So plus 1/32 times sine of 4 theta. Valued from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. All right, and lucky for us, cosine, sorry, let's see here. What is sine going to be? I'll get a little crowded. Let's see if I draw sine really quick. Okay, let's see, I have my thetas, then I have sine of pi, right? It's pi and negative pi, right? 2 times pi over 2 and 2 times negative pi over 2. Well, that's lucky. Those are both 0. So this term will actually disappear. They're both 0. And I also have sine of 4 times theta. Okay, 4, then pi. I think that's 2 pi. Yeah. So I get sine of 2 pi and sine of negative 2 pi. Well, those are also 0. So this goes away as well and ends up being 0. And so actually the only thing I have to evaluate is this 3/8 times theta. So then really squeezing it in here. All right, so I have 1/3, and I'm evaluating this 3/8 theta from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. It's a terrible 2. So 1/3, 3/8, it's pi over 2 minus negative pi over 2. Well, that ends up being pi in the middle, so I have pi, 1/3, 3/8. I think it ends up being pi over 8. All right, so there you have it. Took a while, but we got to the end.